Hello everyone, this is International Master Robert Jamison from Kids Unlimited in Melbourne, Australia. And I have a little game to show you today. The title of the lesson is How to Beat an Attacking Nutter. Now I think most people, particularly juniors, think that the plan in chess is to attack. They have one plan. In every situation, their plan is to attack and checkmate the opposing king. That's wrong. Particularly masters understand that the best plan is to build up a good position. Then you probably attack if the position dictates that you attack. And the other aspect of this is so often most of my opponents, they self-destruct before I even get around to attacking. I'm building up my nice position, and before I can do anything, they just desperately attack me and self-destruct, lose all their pieces and resign. It's a nice simple way to win a game. All right, so let's move on to the game. Now, I retired from competitive chess a long time ago, but I have been playing a bit of online chess. I've been on chess.com playing 10 minutes, I think, plus 3-second increment games, something like that. And I've played a few games, win most of the time without too much trouble, got my rating up to the lofty heights of 2175 or so. Then one day I did a challenge and I was playing black and I saw my opponents rated 2485 or something like that. So I go, oh my God, my first strong opponent and I'm black. What will happen? So let's have a look and see what happened. He goes E4, C5, I like the Sicilian, I play the Pelican variation, but before I could do that, he goes B4, the wing gambit. Would you like a free pawn? All right, so obvious thing, free pawn, why not? Now here white can either play A3, the idea being that takes, and he's got a bit of a lead in development for his pawn, or he can play D4. All right, now see if you can help me here. What move should I play here? Now what you need to think about is you ask yourself the question, what is the problem with my position? And you'll notice that this position is different from normal Sicilian positions because I have this pawn here. So the problem with my position is I don't have any space. He's got these two nice pawns in the middle. So I would like to contest that space. So my move is D5. Now, normally you'd say, well, this move's probably not so hot because he's going to take, and if I take with a queen, then he's going to hit me with a knight and chase me away. But here, of course, he cannot do that because the pawn's controlling C3. So I'm quite happy if he wants to take. He doesn't want to take, he plays E5. All right, see if you can help me again. What is my next move? So I'm trying to develop my pieces and put them on the best squares. A couple of okay moves, like knight C6 could be okay, but this pawn is going to go here, be like a French defense. And I do not want to end up with a French defense bishop where my bishop is trapped inside the pawn chain. Okay, so my move is pretty clear. Bishop F5, get my bishop outside the pawn chain before I play E6. All right, here goes bishop there. And now I'm thinking, goodness gracious, what is happening? What is that bishop doing there? He's stopping pawn to E6 perhaps, but gee whiz, I could just say go away. What sort of opponent am I playing? All right, what would you do? Sometimes if your opponent does a strange move or irrational move, the best thing is just to ignore it and get on with it. So I played knight C6. Clearly my knight's going there. It's protecting my extra pawn. That's all good. He plays knight F3. Now I'd like to play E6 and complete my development, but I can't because my queen would be attacked by his bishop. So thought is, could I move my queen somewhere? So I thought B6. So I've got my pawn nice and protected. And d4 at the moment is the base of his pawn chain, so I'm putting him under pressure there. So I'm happy with that. Bishop d3. So he's attacking my bishop. So what should I do? Should I do a swap? Should I maybe move the bishop somewhere else? That would put his d pawn under a lot of pressure. Or should I just protect it? They're probably all fairly reasonable. I thought, well, this guy's probably a bit of an attacking dude, so let's swap pieces. Let's get rid of his good bishop. He recaptures with developing move, which is unfortunate, but I've got rid of his good bishop, the bishop on the opposite color to his center pawns. e6. He just castles. Now I came up with an interesting move here. It may not be the best move, but I had a very good reason for it. Sometimes you have to play the man and not the board. So have a look. What would you play as black? You've only got 2 men out. He's got 3 men out. So he's ahead, and he's castled. So he's ahead on time. I'm ahead on material. So, you could play h6. You could knight e7 or bishop e7 or something, I guess. I was very much focused on, I think this guy's an attacker. He wants to attack me. So if he wants to attack me, I would like to get his attacking pieces off the board so I don't get checkmated. So I went queen a6. Would you like to swap queens? If not, I'm going to take you and give you a double d pawn. So he decided, yes, he'll take and give me a double a pawn. All right, so I was fairly happy with that. He developed his knight. I developed my knight. Now, it finally dawned on him that his bishop on g5 was sitting there, not doing much. So he decided to move it back. Nice of him to give me all those free moves. So now I want to get this bishop into the game. The knight is in the way. What is the best square for the knight? Clearly f5. All right, now have a look at White's position. So he has 3 men out to 2, and his king is safe. And I haven't castled. So logically, he would like to try and get some sort of attack going now before I can complete my development and make my king safe. But how's he going to do it? He doesn't have any pawn play. He can't play a3. It's not a free pawn. He can't play c3. But he wants to attack. He's an attacking player. So he plays g4. All right, it doesn't worry me much. Gives me a chance to get rid of another piece. So thank you for the swap. We swap. And now, logically, my bishop is the next piece to move. Best square for the bishop is clearly e7. Only square that doesn't lose a piece. Now he's sitting there again thinking, what can I do? What can I do? How can I get some play before he completes the development? So he pushes his e pawn, trying to get rid of his double pawn. Now I think my next move is a pretty good move. So I'll give you 10 seconds to have a think. What move would you play for black? You could argue that he's threatening to take on d5 and give me an isolated d pawn. Not that it's a weak pawn, it's in the middle of the board, but still be an isolated pawn. All right, what did you choose? Now, one of the things people need to understand is about taking. Everyone loves taking. It's simple and gains material for a move and things like that. But if I take him, he's going to recapture with developing move. His knight is now in a good spot in the middle of the board. I would rather he takes me and I recapture with developing move. But in this case, I'm recapturing with a pawn and isolating my pawn. So my move is rook d8. So now if he does take me, I take with the rook. My rook's in a lovely spot. So Put that in your memory bank. Often it's better to let them take you rather than you take them. All right. He puts the rook on d8 because his d pawn is going to be weak. At d1 rather. I castle. Now, he hasn't got much to do. What a pity. But he doesn't lash out this time. He just plays a little position improving move. He plays h3. All right, what do we do? We do the same thing. If your opponent's not doing anything, don't lash out and attack him. Improve your position first, then work out what to do later. So I want just a little improving move. So I went pawn to a5, securing my b pawn. And I have 3 pawns to 2 over there on the queen side. So maybe my plan is going to be to get those pawns rolling. Now he doesn't know what to do again. And he plays king h2. Mystery king move. I think I would have put it on g2, but never mind. Okay, what to do now? So where do we have him under pressure? We have him under pressure on the d pawn. Because one day we might take, he takes, and we're attacking it twice. Fortunately, he's defended it twice, but nevertheless, that is his weak point. So what do you do when your opponent has a weak point? You build up on it. So my next move is pretty simple. Rook d7. He plays rook e1, so he has the option of recapturing with the rook. Now I double. So his d pawn's going to be in a little bit of trouble. So he protects it. Okay, black to play. So we can either improve our position, like in the pawn structure, improve our pieces, but look at our pieces, they're pretty good. Or we can push him back, deprove his pieces. So I chose a4, go away. He goes away. Now, look at our position. Pieces are nice, pawns are nice. We have an extra pawn. And I now played a fantastic killer move that induced him to resign straight away. What is my killer move? Have a think. I'll give you 10 seconds. Black to play. What move would you play here? Is it a pawn move? Is it a piece move? All right, my killer move, h6. Now, I call this a high-class waiting move. So basically, I understand that he has nothing to do. He's an attacking player. He likes attacking. He's not attacking. He's sitting there defending with nothing to do. It's incredibly frustrating for him. So I do not wish to do something. So like if I was to take him, he's going to take me back. Easy, you don't have to think about it. Something's happening. It's far better to play like a waiting move and put the pressure on him. What does he do? He doesn't have a clear move now. He has a choice of moves. Maybe you'll make the wrong one. You give your opponent a chance to go wrong. So he realized that I am not going to self-destruct and destroy my position. I'm just going to keep improving it and boa constricting him, and he's having a terrible time. So he resigned. So there we go. 21 moves, no tactics. We destroyed a 24-85 player just by building up our position and playing solidly. So that's the sort of plan you should be implementing against an attacking nutter next time you play them. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.